Well, what I really want to talk to you about is energy, right? Given what you just referenced, the escalating crisis in the Middle East, right? With the NL 145 oil spiking, continuing to do that, a lot of the companies that you invest in are probably pretty nervous, right? What I want to know is in terms of reserves and plan B, what is in place on the government side and also on the corporate side in case, let's say, access to energy, to oil, to LNG out of the Middle East ceases or gets substantially diminished?
Yeah, Martin, that's a very good question. And let me split it up into several responses. Now, first off, for the actual consumers, we are hearing from the government that they are mulling some sort of price caps on gasoline to help consumers, especially in the rural areas where a lot of their lifestyles depend on, say, mobility and fueling their cars. So that would obviously bode well. And mind you, this decision is coming ahead of the potential elections that are going to be happening later this summer for the upper house. So obviously, we are going to see stepped up measures from the government to support consumers and the general population. The companies, on the other hand, well, we think that especially those that are run by prudent and progressive management, they've actually been bracing this for quite some time. And we do have to keep in mind that this event out of the Middle East is coming right after COVID-19, when we did see, and of course, the Ukraine-Russia conflict, where we did see a spike in energy costs that really did have a big impact in terms of the cost of goods sold and the gross margins for many of these companies. So these firms have put in measures from then. They do have a playbook that they're working by. They've been diversifying their energy sources. They've been having a second look at how many of their manufacturing plants are being powered. And so we do think that a lot of these companies are well positioned because of Japan's very unique situation as an energy net importer. But we are cognizant of the fact that if this becomes a long, protracted issue, this will have a negative impact on earnings down the line, which is why the government and companies are working very closely. And we do think that there will be some action, especially in the second half of this year. So we do want to watch this space.
What about at the state level, national energy reserves, oil, LNG, et cetera? And one thing I note is that gradually and very carefully, I think the government's been dialing back up nuclear as a component of your energy mix.
Sure. So Japan imports a lot of its LNGs from various parts of the world. The Middle East is obviously a core factor of that, but also a lot of people forget that Japan also imports a lot of their LNG from Australia as well. So Middle East is not the only source. So we do have some diversification. There's also talk about how Japan may potentially look into partnerships with the U.S. in terms of finding more reserves in Alaska. So, but that's more of a mid to long-term thing. In terms of the nuclear option, yes, this is something that the government is seriously considering. Surprisingly, I think we are seeing more support from the population as well, those that are in the 20s and 30s who believe that for sustainable economic development, there does need to be sustainable power generation, and that comes from nuclear. We're looking into that, into whether there's investment opportunities in that space. We are of the view that down the line, this will be more of a mid to long-term play, but that could also be an interesting equity story down the line as well.